I'm Tim Deeks. Welcome to the pathway to homelessness. How many times have you walked past some of the most vulnerable in the community and wondered what events in their life have caused them to fall into hardship? Who's to say if you or I would have been any different if we would have faced similar circumstances? At the end of the day, we are all human and we all have a pathway. So let's start walking.
What's your name?
Okay, so I'm Hector. Yeah.
Hector? And how did you get the name Hector?
So I'm selling mess on the streets, and I'm standing at McDonald's, and some goose on a tram yells out my name and says, "I want to grab a 1-7 up here." I said, "Well, maybe you should ask the Jacks here." You know, now you fucking let it. Yeah. And my mate said to me, "Listen, you got to you can't tell these cunts your name." And so he said, "We're going to call you Hector." And I thought, mate, I do not look like a fucking Hector, all right, for a start, and I'm not South American in no way, shape or form, but it's stuck. And everybody calls me Hector.
Well, Hector, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Sydney. I was born on the south coast and in Wollongong, and grew up in the out in the suburbs in Punchbowl and Liverpool. And,
Hector, what was your upbringing like? Did you have brothers and sisters?
I got 4 brothers and I got 5 sisters. I was the youngest. I thought our upbringing was fine. I didn't know any different. We're a big family and lots of cousins. We stayed within our sort of like our own little family group and never really had much. But I thought that was the case for everyone. So I didn't feel like it was too different. You know.
When was the last time that you saw one of your family members?
Probably a few weeks ago. Yeah. I've got a sister that lives in Melbourne, and she works in town, so we catch up occasionally, and she'd like to be more often, but it's not always the case. So, and I got a message from my eldest daughter tonight, and so I'm pretty lucky in that respect, you know. There's some of the family I don't, we don't talk for different reasons. There's a lot of things that make up to that. And
Yeah. What did you enjoy doing when you were younger? Did you play sport?
I played rugby league.
Rugby league?
What
position did you play?
I was hooker.
Yeah?
And I was in the scrum, and I was captain of the team, and I lived and breathed rugby league, mate.
Yeah.
If it rained and we got washed out, I used to cry. So.
Did you ever think that you would wanted to play professionally?
I didn't think there was any other course in life. That's what everybody did. Yeah. But I was in it. The school was sort of like they were heavily rugby league focused, and I loved the game, and I was in with a mix of people and we went from year to year, and it was everything to me. Yeah.
What was your very first job?
My very first job was on the railways. Yeah, I got accepted for an apprenticeship. Yeah, I actually got into it a bit younger than I thought I would. And I think it was my 16th birthday. I remember my mum coming in and saying "Happy birthday, son," and the old man come in and said, "You don't live here anymore. Can't get out and get a job." So.
You mentioned your sister. Does she know the position that you're in?
Yeah. So, I'm pretty open with my family. I mean, I've talked, with brothers and sisters on that occasion and they get their life. But there's certain things that I don't know. Maybe Melbourne hasn't been sort of like it's been kind in some respects, and it's been very vicious in others. And there's some things that have happened down here that that just made it difficult for them and for me. So, which is. Mate, you deal with what you get, and you try to make the most of it, I suppose. So, it's not always shining. Not every day is a shining day, but it doesn't make any difference if you feel.
Make the best of it.
I suppose so. You try it. I've got a serious drug habit, so the type of drug I use is numb things. So, I think all things taken, it's not that bad. You
When did drugs enter your life?
know, when I was about 16, my first drug was heroin. First drug of any type, not pot or anything like that, and I injected that. My cousin came around and said, "You got to try this shit," and it took me to a place that heroin. I mean, I look around and I look at the tragedy that methamphetamine brings into society, and it's fucking horrific. And I think a lot of people, you give me a heroin addict any day of the week, as far as, but being a heroin addict, there's a hunger in that drug that you can't imagine. It becomes a priority one, whether you like it or not, and that's what makes it so dangerous, and it can kill you, and it has killed a lot of my friends. But it turned a cloudy day into a sunny day, and it never stopped for 35 odd years. I had a long heroin habit. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you ever think back to that time when you first tried it and think about how your life would have been different if you hadn't had that experience?
Oh man, I could be a completely human being, and we could do. I think we could sort of like at every turn, we life could have a different outcome. I think ultimately, sort of like, in some ways, the nature of our brain and how we're made up determines our outcome in life. I think maybe if it wasn't one thing, it would have been another. Who knows? But definitely, yeah. I come from a family who, people have experienced the same things I've experienced, and not resorted to drugs. That was my out, because I didn't know any other way, and it was. And it came in such a lovely silver lining. It was just, it was something that it was my answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Totally understand.
Yeah.
What are some of the crazy moments that you've had in the last 4 years on the street? I imagine there's been a few. You could probably write a book, but is there any stick in your mind?
You could write a book. You could, and I tell you what, it would be as entertaining. Any book is the attraction of any book in my regard is the skill of the writer, of course, and you can turn any topic into something good, and this would be no exception. I've seen the most outrageous things. I've seen, man, the people are a whole another dimension of life, and they're amazing. Some of them, like you run it. I've got people in my life that I've met down here who are just the most talented and unbelievable people, and it's like, wow, I just never knew. And musicians and professionals and artists and people that have no education, but their concept of life. People so fucking crazy. You didn't think a mental illness could be so severe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, man, it's a paradox in some respects. It's crazy.
100%. I couldn't agree more with you.
Yeah.
Especially like on the street, some of the artists that we've met. Actually, one that I met just up over the road here, he's unbelievable. Just the way he went about it.
Yeah, and it's you said some people. A lot of people look at things like that and look at it as a waste of talent, or you could do this, or you could do this, or you could.
Yeah.
But it's you could if all things, if the puzzle all fit together well, and like, man, there's things in my life that there's some of these lovely people out here. They spend 10 minutes in my head, they'd probably kill themselves, but there's other things that probably I know people would envy to do some of the things just to go up and there's a certain freedom that comes with homelessness and unemployment and total disregard for the law and mixing it up and fueling it with drugs. It's man, it's a lifestyle. It's like some people would pay for that experience and pay handsomely, I would imagine. But there's probably some people that live everyday lives that go through days of pain that I can't imagine, in their own mind,
Yeah, for sure.
So, I try to keep things, somebody worse off. You know what I mean? Melbourne, we don't do it too bad in Melbourne, man. This comes out of a garbage bin, man. It's like it comes out of it like a donation bin. Mate, I know where to find beautiful clothes that people throw out, and Burberry jumpers and Chanel handbags, and people throw out the most unimaginable things.
What's your average day like? What when you wake up? Like, where do you sleep?
It changed a lot. When I first came down here, we had squats everywhere. I could cross town and drop in at 4 or 5 different places, squats, where there'd be 4 or 5 people or a couple of people, whatever, 10 people. Drop in, hey, get out, how you going? So my day, I don't sleep very much. What you see me just drifting up there, I'll catch a few winks, I'll drop for 20 minutes an hour. I'm on the move again. I sell meth. And I sell meth because I can't afford to fucking pay for it myself. I'm probably the worst drug dealer in Melbourne. I tend to give a bit of it away and I forget who I'm giving it to. But, it's nothing to be proud of. There's a lot of families that are torn apart from drugs. So I do it because I'm a drug addict, and I've fought the fucking attraction of drugs for many years, and I haven't come up winning. So these days, it's a lot easier for me to get by just fucking kicking along, And I don't have the energy to fight the addiction anymore. Which in some ways is not so bad. It's like, my days, I get up, it doesn't matter what the priority is. I got caught coming at 10 o'clock. Mate,
Tomorrow?
This is a lot of weeks. I'm out and I'm getting on. I got to have, if I haven't already got it for that day, I buy a reasonable quantity of fucking drugs, and I hoot around and I try and unload what I can, and always thinking I'm chasing that, and that's my day. If I look like I'm going to run out, I will go and fucking commit a crime. So if I'm not fucking stealing shit, I'm bouncing off people and things like that.
I'm not a drug user, so, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of people that'll watch this that aren't either. What happens to you if you don't take drugs? Like if you were just to stop?
Oh, listen, I've had periods of sobriety. I've been married 3 times, and to beautiful women. I've been very lucky in my life. I've had beautiful people around me. I don't talk a lot about it with these people because often a lot of these people, they don't have family. I don't know why, but I've just been blessed in that regard. And fuck, man. It's I sort of like run that question. I tailed off them because I got a bit emotional when I start thinking about my family and that.
Yeah, of course. No. So what happens to you if you were just to stop?
If I stop, yeah. It depends on the motivation. Yeah. If I get locked up, it's not so bad because it's not, you can't get your fucking hands on. Well, you can. I don't use it when I'm in jail because it brings trouble, and it can bring big trouble, and I don't want that. I'm not, as you can see, I'm pushing the arse out of 60 kilos. I'm not. My brain's got me by in my cunning and wit. I don't, brute force hasn't served me fucking well. But so yeah, I got to live by my smarts. So going to jail, that's a clean up time. It's easier. If there's a goal there and the motivation's there, I'll dig deep and I can put myself, I can get through it. But generally, and nowadays, if I don't have meth or heroin not so much. I've been away from it for a few years now. My best mate died, and it shook me up a bit. And but I turn into quite an ugly character, and I just make it happen. Yeah, and for the life of me, it's a busy fucking life,
Yeah.
I don't often rest, and my dealer doesn't come around to my fucking place and knock on the door and say, "Yeah, brother, here's your shit for the day."